Welcome back to the most exciting comic book podcast on YouTube and the interwebs. Today it's time for the Comics Aficionados. We've got a great panel for you. We're going to be talking about the new normal at DC and Marvel Comics. It appears that $4.99 is not going anywhere, and I would expect that that will just be what the price is for all comics in the not-too-distant future. Also going to be talking about some of the new exclusive, or the non-exclusives over at DC Comics. Also, obviously, we got some sort of level of confirmation that Bendis is no longer exclusive. That certainly moves on to other creators. We're going to be talking about the X vote. Brett Booth on X-Men 17. Is IDW losing Hasbro, and how bad would that be? And also, we'll talk about any of the highs and lows of Future State Week 4 as well. And like I mentioned, I do have a wonderful panel today. Making his return is the comic book teddy bear himself. Jimmy, how you doing?
I am just so ecstatic right now. I'm happy. I'm happy to be on the panel with Perch, Pele, and Wes.
Fatal J will be making his way here at some point. He's running late as usual, so you have that to look forward to as well.
I'm really happy about that.
Joy.
Hey, Fatal J. Fatal J is the man. Also with us, you have been here for a few weeks. I know you had a great stream last night yourself. Perch from Comics by Perch. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, nice to be here. Good hello to everybody, and great to be with this panel.
Terrific. Also with us is our curmudgeon critical himself. He's so salty, he's pickled. How you doing?
Yeah, it's extra salty today.
Terrific. Yeah. Yes, we got the details, but you will not be sharing those. Not on my stream.
Never trust your urologist.
There you go. Also with us is the X-Men story, the Marvel aficionado, Doc, also the co-host of the show. How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi.
All right, let's get right into it. So, obviously, in April 2021, we know that DC Comics is moving to, basically on your Batman, Superman, Justice League, kind of your premier titles. You're going to get a backup story. Mm-hmm. The price has been moved up to $4.99. We kind of knew that, but when we look at the April solicitations for Marvel as well, we're seeing $4.99 a lot. They used to just do that kind of for their bigger number one issues and maybe a milestone here or there, but it's definitely spreading out. We're getting Guardians of the Galaxy 13s, $5, a random issue of Spider-Man. We also got like Carnage, Red, White, and Blood or whatever. I don't know, Perch, is this the new normal? Should we be expecting basically all comics to be $5 by the end of the year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think $4.99 will be the floor, and I think we'll see a lot more $7.99 as well. And I think this is all part of the comic industry kind of moving into a collector niche market where, as the overall unit sales go down about 10-15% of new comics, where price is going to go up, a corresponding way to make up that gap. And this is what it's going to be.
Yep.
It sucks. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I see this $4.99 in my head kind of weird, because when you got high demand for a product and it's the sales are going to go up, but if you have low supply, the sales are going to go up. But I think of it like also with us as a consumer, they have enough people. I mean, they have enough comic books. Oh God, so they have enough comic books for everyone, but they don't have enough people. So they're thinking about us, and they're like, well, the supply for the people are down, so we have to raise our prices, and I don't think that's right.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, it is all supply and demand, but all they're doing is
killing
demand. They're accelerating the entropy that's the whole industry has been suffering for a long time. What's the problem? People aren't reading. Why aren't they reading? Because the stories suck and they're too expensive. So what is our solution? Raise the price, but don't get any better. So all you're doing is accelerating and exacerbating the exact same problems. Yeah. And all they're going to do is drive another few readers away. And every time they do it, they drive more readers away. It doesn't actually compensate for anything. Make better. Look, the solution to comics has been very simple for a while. And especially now that they're all, well, at least the big ones are all owned by huge multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporations is make them loss leaders for like 5 years. You're not going to solve the problem. We're well past the point where a 50-cent drop or a 25-cent drop or even a $1 drop is going to matter.
Yeah. I think if going forward, if they promised, which Marvel's, DC's promises, whatever, but if they promised all comics in the future will at least be 40-page books, but they're going to be $4.99, I'd be like, okay, all right, that sucks, but that's more story, and as long as it isn't like, 8 pages of bullshit side story, that absolutely doesn't matter, then, that's cool. Okay, $5 and you get 40 pages of good solid story. Sure, that's good. We can live with that. No. We're going to see 24-page stories with ads for $5, and people are just. I fully believe that we're just going to see I'm out, and I know this is going to be, I've already talked to customers. We've already been talking about this for a while as the move, has been steadily going this direction, and it's like, well, when it hits $5 for everything, I'm out, dude. I'm out. That's my line, and I don't blame them. I really, really don't. And you
lose a few more customers every time you raise the price, and then now you have to make up because the whole point is they're adding dollars so that if they multiply the current amount of units sold by the new dollar amount, it makes what they want. Well, except for now, the new units movement is going to be lower from the people that leave. So now they're going to have to raise it again.
Mm-hmm.
The solution is drop it, accept some temporary losses, and improve the quality.
Of course not. Oh my God, that's
well. There's another factor. It's got to be location. So the distribution plays.
Oh God, yes.
Here. It's a good way to think about this, and a friend of mine pointed this out. Is if you go to Walmart, you go to Target. There's a section in Walmart and Target that are like nostalgia toys. And it's where they've got, toy figures of like Ghostbusters characters and things that are when we were kids, or at least when I was kids, like 5 years ago. But this stuff is costing, like you get these action figures that are $15, $16, and they're making that because they're for collectors. They're not for kids. They're for a very specialized niche group that's willing to spend $15 to get like a Sarah Connor toy because you remember that from your childhood. And that's the equivalent of what comic books are like now. They are very, very niche. They're sold very, very special, and they're sold to collectors and speculators by and large that are not the mainstream. And they're sold in a very small location. They're sold in comic shops. To fix this, you got to widen it past the collectors, and you got to get it into other shops. And then you do those things, the price can go down fast.
I don't think comic books at this point can survive unless they're in Barnes and Noble, pretty much any bookstore and magazine section at a grocery store. Because I was watching in a weird round table last night, and Stan Lee was on it with like J.J. Abrams and Mark Hamill, whatever. And an average comic book in the 60s sold about 500,000 copies. That is... And now we're looking at it nowadays. A good comic book will sell around 80,000.
That's a great. That's 80,000 is a great seller. That's a top 10.
That's
Make
ASM.
a good point.
ASM's like 110 on a really good month, 120, and that's all. That's like all channels. So it's X-Men. I think X-Men and X-Force and a couple others probably hit around 70 right now, 65 to 70.
And with this raising it up to $5 a piece, these average mom and pop stores aren't going to buy any because those are going to be too expensive. Maybe 2 at the most if we're lucky.
What I find the best of all this is it's also, well, the one thing that's a good kind of byproduct of this is The whole concept of, oh yeah, let's forget about singles and go straight to trade because, we can buy that for $15. No. Now you're looking at $50 trades.
Yep.
If you're skipping the singles.
Yeah, they think that the trades are going to be the same price, and it's like, no, your $25 trades are going to go up to $40.
Yeah, because you don't have any of the trades are mostly gravy money or offset some of the losses, not offset all of the cost.
Well, and trades have to be, they either have to be completely original, step into its stories. If you're not going to have a volume 8 of a series, or I know Dawn of X next week is putting out their volume 14. That's not an exaggeration or joke.
No, that's because they collect the entire line in every issue.
Right. No, I just want to point out that we're at volume 14 for Dawn of X, just as an aside. But nobody's going to go into a shop and want to spend $14 or $20 or $50 on a trade of some middle story as a new reader. Exactly. You're going to go to you're going to go into the first one or the second one. You're going to start. That's what's happening with manga. That's what's happening with everything. You're going to start at the beginning. So your problem here is you've got to get new people in. If you raise the price and keep raising the price, comic book shops and anyone who's buying comics are only going to buy what they're absolutely sure going to sell, meaning pull boxes and pre-orders. There's going to be no room for new people to come into this market. You're going to take chances on nothing. And everything just gets strings. Sorry, Jay.
No, you good. I cut you off. But let's take Fatal J, for instance, okay? Like the Ronin.
Where are we taking you? We're taking you somewhere from here.
Well, you got to take me somewhere nice if you're trying to date me, okay? But listen. Now listen, okay? Like the Ronin, the last Ronin. I will pay anything for that comic book because they've been producing with the writing. They've been coming hardcore with the art, and I know that's going to keep on going. I will pay anything for that. But $5 for some mediocre art and writing? No way, Jose. I'm going to turn into a minimalist when it comes to comic books.
Yeah. If you're talking about a great story, Brett Booth on X-Men, which we're going to talk about later.
Heck yeah.
Brett Booth on X-Men with solid writing and, a killer kick-ass cover by a God, I don't know, one any of your favorite artists.
Yeah.
There's thousands of them. Alex Ross, Adam Hughes, whoever. $5, sure. There you go.
There you go.
You got, bottom tier Tumblr artist with, a cover that looks like it was drawn by a 6-year-old and a story, and some, social justice warrior written, story. It's like, no, God, no.
You're exactly right, because I picked up a Brett Booth Bloodshot comic book. I don't even give a freak about Bloodshot, but the art was so dope.
Same here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd rather buy Ninja Blast.
Hey, man, hey. Watch yourself.
Now you're talking.
Watch yourself.
So, Perch, kind of getting back onto the topic at hand, and a few people have mentioned this in the comment section. Obviously, Spawn, Todd McFarlane, they lowered the cover price a couple of years ago. I know you went into the numbers on Spawn. Did that result in any number of increase as far as sales go?
You didn't see the series immediately increase, and that's why I've said before, and nobody loves to hear it. If you just lower the price, the customers are not immediately going to flood back into the shop. It builds over time. People become aware that this is cheaper. They take a chance on it, but it does help, and you've got to start the clock sometime. I mean, it's not like you can lower the price and in 1 month, 2 months, you're going to see a bump in sales. But if you never lower the price, you're never going to start that clock getting things moving up again. So. It's smart. It's got to be a combination of two things. You got to lower the price to allow new people to come in and try the comic out and build a new audience. And you've got to get those comics other places. If you don't get the comics other places, then you're still fishing from the same small pond. You've got to do both.
Well,
go ahead.
I do think that they still need to improve the quality because there's so much of it that is just so bad. Because it doesn't matter how much you charge or where you stick a comic. If it's bad, I mean,
you do.
I'm not going to pay. Yeah, like I'm not going to pay any dollar amount for a pile of crap.
No, you absolutely do need to improve the quality. The challenge you have though is that if you're fishing from a very small pond and you've got very low sales, even you raise it to $5 or you lower it to $4, either way, you can't afford Alex Ross to do your whole issue. You're going to lose even more money as a company. So you've got to get. But the thing is, if you expand your distribution, what's more likely to bring in new readers? A nice like Alex Ross painted comic, or Brett Booth painted or comic, or some random unknown artist. That art's going to hook the people too. So it's got to be a combination of all these elements.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they don't even have to. They don't even. I mean, they don't have to have Alex Ross or whoever like that. It's just
Just good.
J.
Just
Scott
good.
Campbell, who just the cover. Have a solid artist on the interior, but they don't do that.
An artist that actually matches the superhero genre,
Right?
Instead of, I mean, we have a lot of artists doing superheroes that are much more suited to be doing Archie these days,
Or still lifes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
I have to cut in here 1 second. I do have a $5 super chat from Kenneth Dowling. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I don't know if I agree with this first statement, but I will repeat it on air. I agree with Fatal J. The worst words of the English language.
Kenneth, this peanut butter sandwich is for you, sir. Thank you so much.
Love
Who
this
buys
channel.
those things? Can't you just make a peanut butter jelly sandwich?
No, sir.
It's like 10 cents.
I thought those were reserved for like elementary
guys.
schools.
This is a
still
work
reading.
of art right here. Kenneth, this is a work of art. Don't listen to these guys. Buy these, please.
Uncrustables, man. Throw back to
Jesus.
my
Best part of my
5-year-old
weekend is
days.
you guys talking comics, and I agree. This is the best part of my weekend as well. And sometimes you get Fatal J with his fatal takes on Uncrustables and PB&J.
We
So
love you, Kenneth.
You get more than you bargain for right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. And thank you so much for supporting the channel, Kenneth Dowling.
I want to tell you about Kenneth Dowling. He is here every single Saturday. He is just cool. He's cool as hell. Nice guy to talk to. He always has insightful, comments to make, and we appreciate seeing him every single Saturday. And
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kenneth.
You know who else is here basically every Saturday? He's been here like pretty much the whole time we've been having the show. He might have been one of our first regulars. Dark Admiral March Hare. He's
That's
got the
right.
$4.99 super chat. We need true believers, $1 books to enter registers again. I'm not paying $3 to $4.99 for the garbage we're putting out now. What do you think, Perch? Is there a viability in putting the reprints out? Maybe in as a means to draw in new readers.
Sure. I mean, absolutely. I think in terms of good news, and you have to say when people do a good thing, you tip your hat to them. Marvel Masterworks going to this digest size at a cheaper price is a good move. Like the more stuff like that is a good idea. Get these comics out. Yeah, we definitely need that stuff. Marvel, given their current their place in the market and the presence they have, get some digests out, sell them to the supermarket chains, put them there. Start collecting every month. Put 10 issues of Spider-Man in there, cheap newsprint. Have them as cheap as you can possibly do it. Yes, absolutely, you should do that.
Who is this right here? Is this Perch?
This is Perch.
Oh man, I'm in the presence of greatness. Perch, what's up?
Oh, you're crazy.
I'm in the presence of greatness. I've been here the whole time.
I watch Perch like all the time. Like I'll be wrapped up in my covers, and I'll be like, okay, a Perch video on. Heck yeah, you know.
But yeah, no. I mean, Perch has a great point though. I mean, look, they can spend a couple of bucks in their marketing department and buy one of the slots that they have 35 different versions of the Weekly World News right at every cash register at every grocery store, or where the fucking Sudoku books are.
Yeah.
Love Sudoku.
I understand that, but there's 9 Sudoku books at every cash register checkout.
Because they're an impulse buy. They're like
I know
50 cents.
Yeah,
I don't buy that either. I don't think I've ever walked to a grocery store and being like, all right, I got some candy here, some food, stuff like that. Sudoku.
Because you don't have mental agility, and you obviously have never flown on a plane where you need a Sudoku book with you.
Okay.
Just
this guy,
because
don't talk about my friend that's a Snyder Cut supporter. Don't talk about him.
Yeah,
okay?
geez.
I got your
It's
back.
remind me.
I'm not gonna let Wes bully you on this show.
Hey, thank you very much to Dark Admiral March here for the support. Great point, great question. We also have a super chat from Atomic Hound. About a year ago, I recall all of us pretty much agreeing the industry was healthy, not great, but not on life support. It feels different now. I think he's got a point here.
Yeah,
it does feel like some bad things have happened, not only just with the pandemic, but the way they've come out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you got this bullcrap comics coming out. You got all these different agendas and propaganda messages from people who don't even read comic books or don't have the lifestyle and culture of reading comic books. It just feels, I don't know, diluted. It feels like Kool-Aid without enough sugar in it. It just, I don't know. It just, it don't feel right.
A year ago, we didn't have all these firings happening at DC to make us go, okay, some shit might be wrong.
Yep.
Well, those are probably in the pipeline already.
Yeah.
AT&T had already acquired.
We are actually, you know what? A year ago we had already the first bloodbath over there.
Well, we had
about a year ago
coming up in a little bit, not quite this early. But what's funny is I was looking. I went back and I listened to one of the streams that we were on. I think where we were talking about this exact topic. And it was great to show how smart this panel is. We were talking that layoffs were undoubtedly coming at AT&T because of the acquisition at Warner. But it isn't. I do think it's gotten worse. I think it's all in the terms. I think life support indicates that any day now it's all going to collapse and everything's going to be done. I still don't think we're there for a variety of reasons, but it's definitely less healthy than it was a year ago. I think. And it's how people came out of the pandemic. It's how the platform, and it's just a softness in sales. I do these numbers and look for trends, and it's like we're losing about another 10 to 15%, and that's not going to take it to zero, but it's not a good thing. I mean, it does set the industry into this place where every time you lose that amount of people, you're making it much harder to gain them because you lose people faster than you gain, almost always. And that's where the comic industry has. They're just setting themselves back further from a stronger recovery.
Well, I mean, I know that I've sounded like a broken record on this, but I mean, this is just some kind of customer psychology 101 stuff. It costs a lot more to gain a customer than it takes to retain one. Yeah. And for every single, but yet at the same time, they're willingly going out and trying to push away existing customer bases to gain a different customer base that either doesn't exist or has no interest in it, and spending more money while also, with, and especially I've talked about this with relaunches, I've talked about this with new number ones, I've talked about it with, kind of overloading on any certain title. You push away existing readers, and every time something relaunches, every time something gets a new number one, every time something gets drawn into something else that nobody else wants to that they're not really interested in, instead of it being customers look at comics, especially comics that they're currently reading, as an ongoing purchase. It's almost like that Netflix subscription. You don't really think about it. You don't have to decide to spend $7.99 every month. You just kind of already have it in your brain you're going to. Then instead, every time you put a new number one on something, though, the customers just subconsciously, they think about it now. Now that you're making people that you've already gotten their money, you've guaranteed yourself their money every month to get them to reevaluate their purchase. Why in the world would you do that?
Yeah.
Good point.
So I do want to say thank you very much to Atomic Hound for bringing that up. It was definitely food for thought. Got the panel hot right here. And obviously we have been talking about this for a while, and it does feel like things aren't quite as good as they were a year ago. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Next up, we do have a super chat from Lane Kramer. I think he's talking about City of Bruce here from Perch and Joe, a trilogy of minis from present day to beyond with art by Steve Croce and Fabok. What do you think? Yeah. Would you accept those artists onto your guys' City of Bruce book?
Sure, absolutely. City of Bruce. I think it is clearly the story of our times, and we will get to it. This is going to grow and take on more and more life. You'll see the most awkward, weird moment. The interview I do with Steve Scroche, and I'm pitching to him, hey, we should do City of Wayne, City of Bruce. He's like, oh, what's that? And I walk through the plot, and you see him just look very confused as to whether I'm trolling him or being serious, and it is a fun moment. But yes, Joe, this is really Joe. I'm getting more credit. This is Joe's brainchild, and I'm the Stan Lee here. I'm just hyping it.
And the basic premise of the story is that Bruce Wayne has sired every child in Gotham City, and everybody's awake.
That's right. Exactly. City of Wayne. It's we're going to lean in.
City of Wang.
We're gonna City of Wang, City of Wayne. We're subverting expectations because it's Bruce has always been this guy, this big billionaire out in the town. Well, why not? All the kids are his.
Hey,
they're all Robins.
I'm thinking about this though. The big twist though is that it's a clone of Bruce, and we start calling him the Womb Raider.
No. That's a Scott Snyder.
Hold on, though. Is this
when
real?
did he ever have time to fight crime? I mean, my God, he's knocking boots 28 hours a day.
He's Batman.
He doesn't sleep.
He's Batman.
Fatal J wants to know if it's real.
I'm a newbie. Is this real? Is this really going on or what?
It's taking a life of its own. So Joe and I do a bit. It's just a fun thing. We always expect everybody's going to get really pissed, but we haven't. We only one guy's really been pissed. Where we do bad pitches. We just come up with the absolute worst ideas we can possibly think of.
One of the greatest ideas for a video ever.
I agree. I like
salty. It's funny. Like I said, only one guy got angry over it, over
Mark
my
Waid?
Mysterio pitch. Yeah. And then some people were confused when we, But anyway, this was one of those pitches. But it's taking on a life of its own, and I know people are starting to. I saw somebody tweeting it at Greg Capullo on Twitter, and it's like, go forth and take this idea, and let's annoy everybody with it.
I have to say this: every time I hear City of Bruce, I always hear it in my head, City of Bruce.
Yes.
So I do want to say thank you very much to Lane Kramer for supporting the channel and bringing up a very great idea. Obviously, a terrible pitch that has taken on a life of its own, and hopefully one day we get that story. We also have Dark Admiral March here supporting the channel. By the way, I know Pele will appreciate this. I picked up another minor Bronze Age key this week, Tomb of Dracula 25, in very fine condition. First appearance of Hannibal King.
Yes, that's a great little title. All of that series is going to be going nuts. Anything with Blade, anything with Moon Knight, anything with Dracula soon, Werewolf by Night. Pick up all of those Bronze Age horror keys now, if you can afford them at all, because they're going to be unobtainium probably in about another year to 2 years. So get in, get what you need now, get what you want, because otherwise you're just not going to be able to buy it later.
Tip of the cap to Dark Admiral March here on an excellent purchase.
Yep.
What do you say, Doc?
It's a great look. It's a great book. It's one that I've been sitting on and not buying for a while, and I'm kind of kicking myself like I am with a lot of
Ryan Reynolds, man.
I know. The movie that told us that Deadpool could be made. No, that's a good pickup, man.
Yeah, it's a strong.
Congratulations, sir.
It's definitely a strong buy, and it's a strong book. If we ever see Hannibal King back into anything MCU related or TV related, then it will take off again. It did hit pretty good spike with Blade when Ryan Reynolds was in Blade, but that was long ago. So it's due for another resurgence.
We got 200 people in here. Make sure to smash that like button, and thank you so much for coming.
Hit it.
Absolutely, hit that like button. Also, if you are interested in any of these comic panelists or their YouTube channels, in the video description, there will be a link to all of them and their social media platforms. Obviously, Doc doesn't have one now because he's incognito.
What? No, I have my new Twitter account.
You're not supposed to say that, Doc. You're not supposed to tell people that.
Man's so cool, we call him the Breen knows what's up in the chat. That's for sure.
So we do have Kenneth Dowling with a $5 super chat. Perch, to quote Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
Just do it. Yes. All of them. All the kids. Heroes, criminals, the Joker, Harley Quinn. They're all Bruce's kids.
Just do everyone.
I think that would actually sell quite well. And you might – somebody's going to call your bluff, somebody being DC Comics one day.
Yeah.
So
I think I can put up bigger numbers than Tom King's run. There will be no fake wedding. Bruce is gonna father all those kids, all of them.
So I do want to say hello to some of the wonderful people we do have here in the chat. So we got Tevia Smoke, a longtime viewer. FF2, I hadn't seen him in a while. He apparently made his way back. Eric Breen, a regular contributor. We got Dominic Powell Dion. He's been on the channel as well. Jamie Andreessen, the biggest, I believe, Shazam fan in the world. He's not having a good week, I can tell you that. Critical Blast, he's got a wonderful channel. If you don't check out Critical Blast, you're missing out on something great.
I'm gonna check it out.
Thank you to everyone that's in the chats right now.
I want to shout out Comic Quirks. I want to shout him out. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I want to say the creator of City of Bruce, Joe, is in the chat. So,
Joe's in here too. I must have missed that one. I am sorry, Joe. Joe, regular contributor to the channel. We're talking about Daredevil, I believe, on Sunday or Monday. So if you like Daredevil, you might want to check out that video.
Don't nobody like Daredevil. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You bastard.
I'm just kidding. Man, that was a joke.
Trying to have this whole panel go against you.
Fatal J, you've said some stuff in your lifetime, but that one will start a riot.
I'm a fan of Frank Miller's Daredevil. I'm a Daredevil fan. I was just trying to test the waters to see what y'all was going to do. That's
You're going to get your ass burned in those waters.
Absolutely. So first, talking about these $4.99 comics being the new norm, what we're also seeing, and I believe you mentioned it earlier, is obviously DC seems to have been addicted to the $8, like 80-page giant idea with all these milestones. Obviously, we've kind of moved past the 80th anniversary, but it feels like they're probably not going to stop. We're also getting like these $6 anthologies. I imagine we're going to be getting those from Marvel as well. So it feels like it's not just the regular comics. We're going to be getting a bunch of high-price specials as well.
Yay, the one thing that American comic book readers never fucking buy. Anthologies. That's definitely going to work out for them.
Yeah, it's if you look at 2019 and you look at how the sales went, DC, if they didn't have the anthologies, they didn't have those anniversary issues, it's bad for them. They look a lot closer to Image. It's funny, if you take DC and you take out the anthologies and you take out Batman, they start to drop under Image at times. It's an interesting. I mean, that's where their sales are coming from. So no surprise there will be more of them. I know a lot of us have complained, why so many Batman titles, or over in Marvel, why are we doing so much with the X-Men? Well, if you take those pieces out of what those comics, what those companies sell, it looks really ugly, really fast. That's why.
Well, and people are going to get tired of it. It felt like, it's the 80th anniversary. We're celebrating the character, but you can only celebrate the character so many times. That Detective Comics 1027 still gets my goat.
Mm-hmm.
It had a good Bendis Batman story in it.
There is no good
Boulder
Bendis
Dash.
Batman. There's no good Bendis.
No.
Hey,
Batman.
I wanted to read Power so bad, but I looked throughout the comic book and I saw all those balloons, and I just can't do it.
Which one?
We're afraid of
Powers. Like that
that
concept is like amazing to me. But when I flipped through the book and I saw all those balloons, I couldn't do it.
Jay was on board until he found out he had to read.
Exactly.
He needs a goddamn pop-up book. Come on. Oming, Bendis, get on it. I got a pop-up book version of Power. With a little thing that you pull sideways.
Don't give him ideas.
Hey, but do you remember those? That blew my mind as a kid. Those pop-up books, and them little fingers will pop up, and then when you close the book, you do this.
Can you imagine that? You open up the first page and it's full of dialogue, but then you pull the thing on the side and there's twice as much Bendis speak.
Oh, snap. You know what, guys? What if we come out with a pop-up comic book? That will blow.
Oh, no.
That will blow up. Just imagine if you had a Fatal J comic book, you open it up.
And it punches you in the face.
I would rip that shit out.
I'm not imagining that anymore.
I got secondhand embarrassment from that.
Yeah.
One of the if we want to talk about horror here, when we move more to digital, if you go through Bendis's book and you read actually how he tells you how to write comics and words not pictures, I think this basic book that he made. There's a bit very small in there where he talks about one of the cool things about digital is that you can have panels that are filled up with words, but then you could click on it and the panel doesn't change, but the words change, and we could have so much more dialogue in every comic. It's one of the cool things about digital is how much more dialogue we can put into it. So that's the future, folks.
Because what we need is 7 times the Bendisisms.
Yeah, that's what's been missing.
Yeah, this is the perfect reason why digital needs to die. Because they can do that. Let's prevent them, because otherwise we're going to get 22 pages with one goddamn panel. It's just going to be one piece of art.
That's something to look forward to. Unlike the Fatal J will do this pop-up City of Bruce book.
Do a pop-up book. That will be amazing. It'll cost $10 million to make, but we can do it.
Hallmark can produce it.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like
let them sponsor the book.
Hey, listen, guys, I got shit I gotta do, so I'll check out. I'll catch you. No, I'm just kidding. Let's get on topic because
we're getting on to the next topic.
Fancy cards that pop up. So
guys, we're getting back. Speaking of Bendis, we did get confirmation that this week that something that we've kind of talked about here on the channel. We obviously were talking about a lot of the artists leaving along with Jeff Johns, but Bendis is no longer exclusive creator at DC Comics. And Perch, essentially, almost nobody's an exclusive creator at DC now, right?
That's what we believe. Again, everybody keeps these things quiet. It's their own personal contracts and everything else. But at least from what we understand, the 3 big names I think were Bendis, Tom King, and Scott Snyder. And at least we believe that none of them are exclusive anymore. So that doesn't mean they're leaving. Some people mistook. I noticed in both of our videos, like, "Yay, Bendis is gone." No, he's not exclusive. It means they can still hire him to do work, but he can, in theory, he could do a book for Marvel if he wanted to. And same thing with some of these others. So that's really what is going on. Not a big surprise with all the cost cuts. I mean, they've got to cut somewhere, and by cutting the exclusive, they're also cutting the rate.
Well, here I got an idea. What they could do. Blacklisting is wrong. I don't support it, but they could give an anti-exclusive to Bendis. It's the exact same thing as a blacklist. It's just called something different.
Well, there you go. I do want to say thank you very much to Nola Nerd for the $10 super chat.
Nola Nerd
for the channel. Good morning, aficionados. Have a great show. We are going to have a bang-up show for you, sir. And welcome back to the channel. Who dat? I'm sorry what happened to your Saints. Hopefully better next year, but obviously it feels like Drew Brees isn't going to be there, so I don't know. Hopefully, Taysom.
Well, he don't did his job. I mean, he's impressive. He had an impressive career.
But thank you once again to Nola Nerd, one of the long-time supporters of the channel.
Nice avatar.
That was a pretty funny avatar. I'll give him that. So I know that Jimmy, you're a Bendis fan. You're certainly a bigger Bendis fan in modern comics than anybody else here on the panel.
Words.
Are you excited that he's no longer exclusive to DC? Maybe he can go get his Jinx World stuff going over there. Image, maybe he can go back to Marvel, or he can go to Boob or something. Do something different.
I feel like Obama after getting
I'm sorry.
After getting what's the guy who did 9/11? Just we got him, guys. We got him. He's finally gone.
Osama bin Laden.
But yeah, Bin Laden. Thank you.
That's what I was thinking about. He's talking about Bin Laden.
I couldn't remember the guy's name.
This went dark.
I'm just like hearing that. I was like, oh, okay. So he's gonna calm down. He's gonna go off, do a couple of his books, but yet he's still doing Justice League for some reason. I'm okay with it. I'm totally fine with it. His Justice League, he released a couple more covers of what they look like. They look like they're Naomi-centric, and
exactly what we all asked for.
This is my shocked face.
Hey, should I read? Hey, from a Bendis fan, should I read Powers? Because something in me wants to read it.
It's actually
yes.
Powers is good. Yeah.
Okay. From a Bendis fan, I will tell you right now, one of my favorite runs on any book ever is his New Avengers book, what he did with I think it was Finch who was on that first.
David Finch.
Yes, it starts off. It basically goes through like Civil War, Siege, Secret Invasion. It goes through everything. You're gonna have a fun, nostalgic experience. But I feel like that's why they have him on Justice League right now, is trying to get that feeling back. But I don't think.
I think they have him on Justice League so they don't have to fully admit that they made an enormous mistake.
You know what? Bendis' New Avengers was okay. It went off the rails at around Secret Invasion. By the time it hit Siege, it was already just a shit show. By the time it hit AVX, it was everyone on the planet is an Avenger, and it was stupid.
Hickman did the same thing.
Yeah, Hickman did the same.
40 of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hickman did it better though, sadly.
Yeah.
But he did. I'm gonna agree with you a little bit, Doc. I'll say around Siege is when it sort of fell off.
Well, regardless, but then, but no, Powers is a solid book. Like probably everything up until the point where it was done by Icon, which was Marvel's creator-owned line that they created for him and Mark Miller and Brian Vaughan and Brubaker. Everything up until that point, so like the entire Image first run is good. The Icon stuff and beyond is not very good, in my opinion.
All right.
So, Perch, kind of getting back to Bendis, from what we just heard from Jimmy, do you think a Naomi-centric Justice League is what DC fans have been clamoring for? Is that the special sauce that was needed?
No. That's it.
Oh,
No.
you're just a privileged white man. You don't understand. You don't understand this.
It's not. I mean, look, I get the idea. The idea is we want to show the Justice League through the idea.
Somebody playing Mario?
It was my text.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. It's they want what this is a standard kind of Bendis kind of trope of you want to bring somebody relatively new into the team, young, fresh eyes that can look through. It's not unlike what he's done in the past. It's not unlike what Mark Waid was trying to do with the Avengers when we had Miss Marvel as a member of the Avengers. That's the thing they're trying to do. There is a Naomi show coming out, so maybe there's this idea that that's going to help translate some viewers in. It's misjudging what the audience wants, which is just give me a core book with the big names fighting, big villains, and that's really for the Justice League. They just want this kind of team up doing that kind of work. You don't need to make it too fancy.
Also,
I think it will last a year.
People forget that the Naomi book was like a very high spec book for about 6 or 7 months when it was coming out. It was
just because the first print was like 8,000.
It's still relatively hot for people that aren't really comic buyers.
Try to bank off that.
Well, see, you've got comic speculators and people that aren't really comics people. They'll see Naomi, somewhere in the news or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, I've got to get a hold of that," and they buy it. And then all the rest of us are looking at them, going, "You paid what? You bought that? Oh, okay, all right. Well, it's good on you then."
All right, have fun.
The thing to watch here, just if you really want to know yourself a little bit, is, and I'll do this without spoilers, in last night's WandaVision show, which is firmly connecting us now to the MCU and doing some bigger things, and it's connecting to a storyline that Bendis was responsible for. You're going to see this push of news over the next 2 weeks to 3 weeks of a lot of taking credit for that idea. It's been a long time since we've had an MCU show. A lot of people are going to be all excited about it. You see a lot of energy and excitement of this pent-up demand, and now they're getting into some bigger world-building stuff in that show. And you're going to see Bendis and people coming out of the woodwork to remind us that Bendis did that storyline in Avengers Disassembled and House of M, and it was him. And you're just going to see this tidal wave of credit being grabbed, and it's going to be nauseating. But brace yourselves. That's what we're going to get.
Oh yeah.
So, I do want to say thank you very much to you, murdered that guy, for the $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel. Is there a precise definition of small press, and what are some of your favorites in this category? Does anyone have a definition of what is small press?
Isn't it anything that's not the big two?
Like Aardvark Vanaheim, like Love and Rockets.
According to Perch, it's anything that isn't manga or YA graphic novels.
That's right. In the new world, it's anything that's not manga or scholastic is small press technically. No, I mean
Boom Studios.
Usually, it's somebody who does not. You call small press somebody who does not have national distribution. That used to be the definition back in the 80s or 90s, which fits what Pele was saying in terms of those. Now, small press is probably there are places that are bringing in less than 3,000 units is probably small press, and even that may be a little high. Lots of good books in that category. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Is Vault considered small press? Because if they're small press, they're the best.
Vault?
Yes.
No, Vault wouldn't be. I mean, they've got their diamond distribution deal.
Now, Boom Studios is killing it.
I say my personal opinion of what is small press: any publisher that prints less than 3 titles.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it. I mean, I would say
I'll go with Storm King then.
Yeah,
there's a lot of small press on Kickstarter then.
Yeah, they would all be considered. Well, I don't know if I would. I mean, some of them would be, but I think that you're lumping small press and self-publishing. That at that point, there's a question of: are you even in publishing, or is that just vanity press?
Yeah. Iconic Comics. There you go.
Hey, somebody brought up Boom Studios. Have y'all read this comic book called Claws?
Yeah.
I love that comic book, man.
No.
They killing
That's
it.
the Grant Morrison annual Superman.
Grant Morrison,
Santa Claus book, yeah.
Well, you can have one thing I want to point out is there's like a couple of other publishers, like say Titan Comics and a few others. Most of their books are like 4,000 or 5,000 print run. I mean, they print very, very tiny print runs. I would consider them small press. They have like 1 or 2 titles that, I think they did the Elric series and a couple of the Blade Runner. And they had like 15 to 20,000, I think is the most they've ever published of anything. But everything else is like 5,000, 4,000 copies.
How do they make money? Well, that seems pretty low.
I don't know. They do, though.
Their Blade Runner stuff is actually quite
quite good. So, it sells well. I don't know. I've only read a couple issues of it. It was okay.
Anybody that gets licensing, not small press. Anybody that has corporate owned books, in my opinion, not small press unless the owner is also the creator.
There you go. Your boy Zach is no longer small press. Thank you very much to you, murdered that guy, for supporting the channel. I hope we gave you the answer that you wanted for. We got some.
Thank you so much.
Some publishers out there. I don't know. So, what do you think the path moving forward is? With no real exclusive creators, Doc. Do you think this could be a boon for DC, where they're no longer hitching their wagon to any one creator, and does it give them more flexibility moving forward?
I think it does give more flexibility. Look, you have a guy like Bendis, especially with what his page rate was. You're locking him in. I guarantee there was more than just a page rate in that exclusive agreement. There's a guarantee on how much work he's getting from them. And now you no longer have to find projects just to get that guy's or girl's minimums met on a monthly basis. You don't have to keep handing them projects that nobody's really that interested in buying, but you're giving them to them because I need to give him another 20 pages this month, or else I need to give him another title this month. He's not hitting his otherwise we have to pay him a premium to not write them. Whatever. So once you get out of that and you get into a little bit more freelance, I guess to some degree that is that is good in the fact that you might especially like look back at the 70s, 80s, even the early 90s. There weren't many guys that were exclusive. Almost nobody was really exclusive. They might hitch their wagon to a company for a while and then move over, but they didn't have like necessarily an exclusive deal. I think you got a lot more creativity out of it. And you might start getting that again. And that's just my thought.
Anyone else have anything to say about DC Comics doing away with exclusive creators, at least for the meantime?
I think there's going to be less synergy between the creators, because when you have like at Marvel with the execs, exclusives, they all kind of get together and do like this big writers retreat and figure out what they're going to be planning. But at DC, it doesn't seem like they're able to do that anymore.
Well, they used to do that. They would get all the Batman creators and stuff together, but I don't know, that got them in trouble, didn't it, Perch?
No, and I'm struggling here. So let me throw this out there, but I need to be a little careful about what I say. One of the aspects about this exclusive agreement, it's not just about pay; it's also about some guarantees, like Doc said. But one of those guarantees is that your rate is influenced by others' rates. So if you, for example, are a writer, you've got an exclusive, and you've got a certain rate, you bring in another writer, you pay that writer more, then you also get a pay bump.
Oh, so it's most favored nation status like the NWO had in WCW back in the 90s.
Yeah, to be equivalent. So play that out as some of these new contracts are signed, and as some, like if you're going to get, some Hollywood writer, for example, to come in who's not an exclusive, but somebody's going to come in and write a book for 6 issues, and it's a big name. Guess what? Everybody just got a raise. And so if you think about that aspect of it, and you think about the people that did have exclusive contracts, and there were a few, we threw out 3 names, but there were some others, you wind up paying people way more than you intended, and it's a growing problem. So it's less about somebody in the comments was saying, well, this was Daniel Cherry coming in to downsize. It's less about downsizing. It's these contracts were ballooning out of control. And it wasn't just one person, it was everybody. That's the problem. So it's downsizing your costs for sure, but if you think about the magnitude of that problem, it gets to be pretty bad. And this is one of those things where, as you think about it throughout the rest of the day, the more you think about it, the more you realize how devastating this can be as a business term. And I think I said that as generically as possible without getting anybody in trouble. So there you go.
We do have a $5 super chat from Lane Kramer. So I need help with my sub. I need to add 2 DC and 1 Marvel title to my sub. I'm looking for March, April, solicit some suggestions adding this morning. I would suggest Beta Ray Bill from Daniel Warren Johnson. It's a mini series coming out from Marvel. I think he's the writer artist on that. I think that's going to be a great one. A couple of the ones I'm definitely going to be getting, Tom Taylor's Nightwing, and I think I don't know. Those are the 2. That's the DC and a Marvel. What do you want to say?
I got the other DC one for him, and y'all might not agree, but I don't care. That Batman Future State by Dan Mora is off the hook, and I'm having a good time with it.
Dark Detective, sir.
Oh, whatever it is, I don't care. It's still dope. The art is wonderful. I love it, man. I'm having a good time with it.
Just accidentally somebody might buy Batman Future State.
Yeah.
What he's suggesting is getting Detective Comics starting in March. And I would go with that. I think Mariko Tamaki has done surprisingly well, and the Dan Mora art is dope, and they will be on Detective Comics starting in March. Perch, do you have any other recommendations? What do you got?
I think Swamp Thing. That looks really good. I'm curious to see what Philip Kennedy Johnson does. I'm anxious to see what his Superman looks like. So I think there's a couple there. Marvel is maybe. I mean, if you're not buying Children of the Atom, I mean, come on.
If you're not buying Children of the Atom, you really like your actual money.
You got anybody else have any recommendations of what they've seen coming out in March and April?
I can give you independent books. I'll give you
what he asked for, sir. All right, give him an indie book.
Well, Oblivion Song, but besides that, there's another book by a small creator no one's hardly ever heard of called Robert Kirkland, and it's like ninjas fighting, and it's pretty cool. It's called Firepower, and if you haven't read it, wow, you're doing yourself a disservice. That book, it's damn good.
I don't hear a split between that one. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's amazing," and then you got some people saying, "Yeah,
it's fun, it's good. I like the art."
Okay, I'll check it out.
I'm expecting more from Ninja Blast, if I'm being honest.
Exactly, and that's coming March 1st.
I'm going to concur with Perch on Swamp Thing. I think that's going to be. It is the way. Swamp Thing, as far as all the Future State books, Teen Titans, okay, whatever. But I think that Teen Titans is kind of important going forward in the future. As far as first appearances, is probably going to be a good. Those are good keys to pick up. But Swamp Thing going forward, as far as story, they're just going to go with it. That's the state going forward. They're just going to run with it because it was such a success as far as for readership as well as sales. So from DC, it's in my opinion the only one that's really stood out.
Ram V and Mike Perkins will be the creative team. Obviously, they are on the Future State book. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, Lane Kramer. I hope we gave you some good ideas, some good suggestions about loading up that pull list starting in March, April. All right, does anybody else have anything to say about Bendis and some other creators no longer being exclusive to DC Comics?
Yeah, I got something to say. Bendis, stop writing so much, bro.
Well, the reason he does that is because he makes $1,000 a page. So that's $22,000 a comic book, 4 comic books a month.
He's doing like 7 there for a minute.
Well, I know he's trying to get more bang for his buck, but still, just tone it down.
I made 1.3 million last year just based off of that alone.
I believe it. There's a lot of money.
What is he doing? What is he doing with that anyway? I mean, what's he doing with his money? I mean, God, I don't see him.
Oh, you know what? Hey, I actually do have a recommendation for what to buy for March, April. The David Michelini, Todd McFarlane's ASM omnibus that's getting re-released. Buy that.
Oh yeah.
Now, what is that, sir? Say that again.
The ASM Amazing Spider-Man by David Michelini and Todd McFarlane omnibus.
Yeah,
they're having new printing of it coming out.
If you can find the first print of it, you're doing really well too. By the way.
All right, so there we go. Let's move on to some X-Men news. Obviously, we've got the X vote, and as far as I'm concerned, Forge is the only answer. I voted for Forge.
I voted for Forge too.
Jay, you did the right thing. Why did you vote for Forge?
Man, Forge is dope, man. I wish they would focus on Forge a little bit more, give him his own comic. I like his powers. That's a weird little power to have, the power to work on any type of technology. He got a dope design. I always like Forge.
Do you know what's not technology? Plants.
Oh, okay, Don. I do want to say thank you very much to Kenneth Dowling for the $20 super chat. I very much appreciate you supporting the channel. I just finished reading 84 Secret Wars by Jim Shooter. Man, this is everything I love about superhero comics. I don't know if I've ever enjoyed reading a comic like this. Heroes versus villains, cosmic battles, loved it. Pele, what can you say about Secret Wars from Jim Shooter?
Oh, it's all it should be. You know, a lot of people looking back, people are saying that it didn't, it doesn't hold up. They're like, oh, it doesn't really hold up. There's a lot, there's more hype behind it than what, than reality. It's not going to stand up over time. I just don't agree. I really, really don't. And I think that it's going to be where the MCU is going in the future. Maybe not the whole shit with the Beyonder, but there's going to be a lot. I think we will see the Beyonder in the MCU, but we will see more. We'll see more influences from that miniseries going forward.
Perch, are you and Joe going to do a retrospective on Secret Wars and take an enormous dump on it, like you did Hush?
I'm sure we will get to it. No, we won't take a dump on it. And keep in mind with Hush, the art, as we said, the art holds up. Hush is great for the art. The story just sucks. That's a problem there. I mean, gave us
y'all talking about Jim Lee Hush?
Yes.
Blasphemy, sir.
Oh, come on. You got to go back and read that again. This is Jeff Ultimatum Loeb. Come on. That comic makes no sense. It is beautiful. No argument. But no, Secret Wars is great. I mean, look, you've got Mike Zeck in there. It's, read that and then move yourself over to Kraven's Last Hunt. And I mean, there are amazing comics during this time.
Then go read Korvac Saga and you'll be happy you did.
Yeah. No, Secret Wars there's nothing wrong. Look, I mean, I love this. I like Pele said, there's been these complaints about Secret Wars like, oh, it doesn't live up to the hype. Like all the other events in the last 10 years. Absolutely live up to the hype. What are you talking about?
It was biblical. It was biblical. It was the first time really that we just got to see just this, that we got to see everything thrown at the wall. And I think it did well. I think it really did well. And
okay, y'all already
it still sells like gangbusters too, so.
I ain't going to cut y'all, but are y'all ready to laugh at Fatal J, even though I know y'all laugh at me anyways? I'm going to say it. I'm going to put my life on the line, Perch. Here you go.
Oh, no.
Batman Hush is my favorite Batman story of all time.
That's fine. That's how everybody
You're
likes.
outing yourself again, sir.
Said like somebody who's never read The Dark Knight Returns or your.
I've read The Dark Knight Returns. I love it, but as overall art, overall story, that is the perfect Batman masterpiece comic book right there.
Well,
Have you read Batman Universe by Brian Michael Bendis?
I've read all Batman stories, sir.
I don't believe that because you didn't know what Batman Incorporated was.
Yes, I did, sir.
No, you didn't. I have the video evidence.
Batman Incorporated was the black guy, wasn't it? The black Batman?
Exactly.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay.
Like Secret Wars
I
gave
proved
us.
his point.
Court of
Secret
Owls
Wars gave us
is my favorite.
Court of Owls is amazing, but I love Hush.
The Secret Wars gave us amazing toys with shields that you can put little shit in there, and it was great. It was
Absolutely. So I'm glad you
gave us
enjoyed
a
it,
black
Shannon.
suit.
And I think you'll probably get a retrospective on that with Perch and Joe somewhat soon. They have been dumping on a lot of classics, but it sounds like Perch doesn't plan to take an enormous one on Secret Wars.
No. Look, yeah. I mean, you pick up Hush and just try and follow the plot, and it's like it falls apart very quickly. It doesn't.
Okay,
age
Perch,
well.
I'm gonna tell you why I like Hush like that. And I'll be real quick because I know we need to be on topic. They put everybody in there.
Well, I agree. And Jim Lee got a draw it. I thought his Killer Croc was weird looking, but it was great as a showcase of the DC universe. It's just you could just eliminate the whole Jeff Lowe plot, and it'd be probably fine. I mean, arguably,
take out the words and just look at the pictures.
Yeah, take pictures. You have a great time. Great time. Just read.
Maybe that's why Jay likes it so much.
That's
he just
probably why.
read the story.
But try Secret Wars, definitely, and do try
Right.
Crave the Last Hunt. Come on, Crave the Last Hunt. I'm surprised by how many people actually haven't read that. I thought that was like pretty universal, but that is just an amazing Spider-Man story.
Yeah. Well, is it even a Spider-Man story? That's the best part. It's a Craven story.
It is. It's a Craven story, but it's a great.
Spider-Man's the supporting character.
And Mike Zeck, who of course did Secret Wars in there. I mean, that guy can draw superhero characters like nobody's business. He's like an amazing artist.
So thank you very much once again to Kenneth Dowling. Very generous of you to support the channel like that.
Thank you, Kenneth.
And hope you enjoyed us razzing Fatal J. Anytime you can give us an opportunity to bust Fatal J's nuggets right here on Thinking Critical, we do appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, Doc, who did you vote for? Did you vote for Marrow or did you vote for Forge?
I actually voted for Banshee.
I'm out of here.
That's a good pick.
No, I actually kind of guessed you would vote for that. I thought you would.
I've always liked Banshee as an X-Man. The disappointing part is I have to choose between Banshee and Forge. I always found that Banshee and Forge work best together. They're kind of a great pairing.
Yep.
They work well together. They have a interesting dynamic that is lost in a lot of ways when they're separated. They're neither of them are interesting.
I agree.
Well, they're not as interesting without each other.
Doc, I used to like when Banshee was the leader of the Generation X. Remember that?
Yeah,
I like that.
But I really like that era where Doc or myself, yes, Banshee and Forge were setting up like the Muir Isle X-Men while they thought that the real X-Men that were in the Outback were dead. They started setting it up with Polaris and Strong Guy, Legion, Beast. It was an interesting kind of thing that they were doing over there. And I always really liked their dynamic together. So I went with Banshee mostly because I hate the way they're doing Forge right now. Like between Forge and Sunspot, both of them are basically just MCU Tony Stark. They're just like half of MCU Tony Stark's character. One is, Forge is just the technology wizard that just shows up to get laughed at and hand people technology, while Sunspot is simultaneously the wisecracking, smug, rich guy bastard that they've, of the RDJ Iron Man. So no, I had to go with, and plus the fact that Forge is he's good with technology. And you know what is not technology? Plants. Plants are not technology. They are organic materials.
Yeah, I just chose to ignore that last sentence.
That's still true. You can ignore it all you want, but it's still true. He is a wizard.
You guys are all like lacking on my boy Strongman.
Oh, I'm a big Strongman fan.
I only like him because of his name, man. It reminds me of like a Robert Kirkman Invincible character, like Robot or Rexplode, Adam Eve. I just love the name.
They never took advantage of Strong Guy though, like him fighting Colossus or Juggernaut. Is it comic books out there with him fighting him? And it's silence.
I have no idea.
I'm just thinking. I do not recall. You said Colossus, right?
Colossus.
Yeah, I do not recall at any point. Oh, you know what? Yes. During the Muir Isle saga.
Yeah.
When he was possessed by the shadow, when after Colossus broke his control from the Shadow King, he did fight Strong Guy. It's the only time I believe ever.
You know what?
There's only like one page or two.
When you ever look at that the X-Men #1 and just look at that Jim Lee poster, that horizontal poster where it has every X-Men that existed. If you just look at that, it's just so amazing. All those characters are dope characters. They're amazing characters. A lot of those characters needed their own solo comic books, and they never did get them. Like Strongman.
You know what? I'm a huge X-Men fan.
It is Strong Guy. Just throwing it out.
I mean, Strong Guy. Why I keep saying Strong Man? I'm sorry.
Because Jimmy did it, and other people in the chat are doing it.
Strong them. Strong Z. No, the thing is, as much as I love the X-Men, outside of Wolverine and maybe a mini series with Psylocke or Deadpool or Cable. Cable is another one that can do it. There's not many of them that can actually carry an ongoing solo series. Sorry.
I think you can do it. Like Forge, Nightcrawler. You have a slew of amazing characters. And you have amazing ladies. The X-Men ladies, I love them over the Avengers.
And none of them have ever been able to carry a solo. That's my point. They've tried. They've done a couple of series of Rogue, a couple of series of Gambit, a couple of series Bishop.
Gambit.
Storm,
Gambit is like on paper, Gambit is the coolest Marvel character known to man. But when you get to his solo books, I admit they suck.
And that's my point. With a lot of these characters, they are great characters, but sometimes less is more with a lot of them. And that's I think Forge is a little bit of a less is more character. I love the character. And again, I think he works best when paired with Banshee.
So he better in a team book, in your opinion?
Oh, much so. And even as
that Irish dialect, man, it doesn't work with the X-Men.
Look,
top of the morning to you.
I don't know why you guys are thinking that Marvel would put a non-white male in the X-Men team. That's completely against the whole point. There's no way that Forge is getting there.
Yeah, it's because
come on. The X Office is known for definitely keeping things very restricted.
But I
don't know. Did you already say who'd you vote for, Perch?
No, I voted for the Libertarian candidate. No, I don't. I mean,
you didn't vote. You didn't practice your democratic right.
I have not voted for X-Men. I'm an X fan in shame. I'll get it. Really, but the question you have to ask is which of these characters is most memeable. So, will it really be? Is it going to be Boom Boom? Is it going to be Strong Guy? Is it going to be Morrow? That's really the question. It's going to be one of those. Probably not Strong Guy because that'd be absurd. So, yeah, Morrow. It's
a lot of stuff with Boom Boom.
Do you know who I'm very happy to not see on this fucking list? Glob.
Yeah, because he's automatically on the team.
Probably on the team.
Yeah. They already stuck him on the damn team.
And
So I do want to say thank you to Lane Kramer for the $2 super chat. What about Hickman's Secret Wars from 2005? I think it's severely overrated.
it's from 2016.
2016. Well, he says
Yeah,
2016.
the Bendis' Secret Wars was from 2005.
Oh, there you go.
And it was just Secret
Well,
War.
Yeah.
Hickman's, I didn't like it.
I enjoyed the idea of it, but it definitely was a jumping off point for a decent percentage of the Marvel fan base, as you can clearly see in the numbers. It's like there was a definite tipping point after Secret Wars. It was a conclusion. People read it and were like, okay, we're good and we're done. And that's probably not what Marvel intended with that series, but it is.
I felt like he had ideas for it, but then when you got to the ending, it was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, I've got to also, I'll throw in a credit to Jamie. Yes, I will be voting for the Legacy Virus in the X-Men contest.
There you go.
So thank you, Jamie. Yes.
Yep.
And thank you to Lane Kramer for supporting the channel. We got a $10 super chat from Kenneth Dowling. Though it's not a comic, I love the 90s X-Men cartoon 5-episode Phoenix Saga. I think did an amazing job adapting the story from the comic.
Yeah, they did.
It's my top 5 X-Men stories of all time. All right, Pele J, launch in there. What did you love about that cartoon?
I remember going to the gas station, seeing that Jim Lee X-Men #1. Then I turned on the TV, saw that 90s X-Men cartoon, changed my life forever. The Phoenix Saga, they did a perfect job doing that. It's like when they did the Phoenix Saga on that cartoon, that was like, I thought that was like canon for everything for Phoenix Saga. Like in my head, just in my head, I was like, okay, that's how the Phoenix Saga is supposed to go for everything. And then, of course, we got that X-Men 3, and it ruined my life.
Doc, I know you're more of a discerning viewer than maybe Jay is. Do you want to crap on the Phoenix Saga in the cartoon?
You know what? No, I really don't. Look, it's a simplified version of the story for cartoon. I look at it, the fact that they managed to do a 5-episode arc on a Saturday morning cartoon. That's like some 80s G.I. Joe shit right there. Yeah. When they do 4, 5, 6 episodes of an arc. And like they actually expected people to be able to watch every episode. Like, and that people would tune in again. And they did. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, remember after like those early G.I. Joe stuff in like the late 80s, they got away from all those Saturday morning cartoons. They were basically, it was 20 or 30 episodes a season, and every single one was one and done. There was no continuity. And the fact that
plays better in syndication.
Yeah, no, I know. And it worked great for them. But Marvel actually, like the Fox Animation having the balls to do a 5-episode, arc in a cartoon on a Saturday morning cartoon after all that. No, I applaud them for it. Yeah.
There's also a really cool X-Men manga series I was watching on X-Men on Netflix with my son. And it's basically the fallout of the Phoenix Saga. It's very good.
I've seen it.
One thing I have to say about the Phoenix Saga is, wasn't it like at the beginning of Claremont's run?
Well, his run is like years, so technically,
I think the Phoenix Saga was toward the end, right?
No, it was 4 years into his run.
Yeah,
it finished 4 years in. It kind of got the seeds got started about 8 months in.
Yeah,
the Phoenix Saga was before Jim Lee run, right?
Way before, yeah.
Way before.
Okay.
Yeah, the Saga was kind of in the first quarter of Claremont's run.
But it's like 13 years or something.
17.
It's an enormous run. So thank you very much, Kenneth Dowling, for supporting the channel. Very much appreciated. Let's move on to the next topic, and it's also X-Men. Brett Booth was on X-Men 17 this week. There is going to be a This Week in X-Men tomorrow where we're going to talk about that, as well as the latest issue of Wolverine. Doc and I were very impressed with both issues. Obviously, we've already talked about it, Doc. Pele, what did you think about Brett Booth returning to X-Men? I thought it was fantastic.
Biblical. God, it was awesome. It was just, I didn't realize, I mean, I knew I was looking forward to it. I knew it was going to be great, but I didn't realize how much I missed just that. I missed his style, that I missed that iconic look to the X-Men so much. It was incredible. It was amazing. And is not only our pick of the week, for comics, it's our pick of the month. It's just fantastic. I'm glad I ordered as many copies as I did because it sold like a motherfucker. And it's probably my favorite X-Men comic in 5 years, 10 maybe. It's amazing. It's really good, and I thoroughly, cannot wait to see the rest of the issues.
Brett Booth is top 10 greatest artists of all time. Top 10.
Well, I'm not even going to get into tops or anything, but he is definitely a top 3 X-Men artist.
I agree.
And he's only done like 5 issues total, and all of them before this were X-Men Unlimited in the 90s.
I know. It's amazing. God, he's so good.
I don't know, Perch. What did you think? Were you on board? Is this the best X-Men issue in 10 years?
No. I mean, well, we're talking visually. I think I love to see him on the book. It looked great. I definitely liked the way he draws the characters. I think it is a nice throwback. It is what a lot of people have been asking for, and but it's not just retro. He just does a good job. The characters look dynamic. They look like they've got some action to them. I mean, all good stuff. I mean, the story is still the story. Like, I mean, it was fine. I'm not calling it the best X-Men
like a callback
in years. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, but the art's great. I think this is a case of you separate the two. The art looked really, really good. The story was fine. That
it just fit. It seemed like the art now finally fits what's going on. It's kind of like the story just clicked for me. It was like there was enough it contributed enough dynamism to the story to make the story more exciting. And this is what the story was missing. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think the book in general feels more. Yeah, it felt more exciting. Just the title and it's. But I mean, what's clear is not my idea, but just that this is clearly that the X Office is writing these things without really knowing who the artist is going to be. I think the artist is just kind of an afterthought, is what it comes across to me as, because you could easily see this story drawn by any of the other 3 or 4 people that have done X-Men lately. But the fact that they got Booth on there and Booth does a really nice job with his book, I mean, it looks good. I'll be honest, I think the synergy between Nacinta and Booth on Legends is really going to be where it's going to hit home. So I'm looking forward to that.
I don't disagree at all. I think you're right there. I mean, Fabian and Brett already they've done a lot of good work. Almost, I like those two together almost as much as I like Brett with Scott Lobdell. And so I think Legends is going to be just off the chain.
The only thing that I hate about Booth though, he's like crack. He'll give you that first high, that little taste, and then you won't see him again because he's not a monthly artist. You know what I mean?
Nobody is. That's the problem. I mean, nobody.
I don't know. I've not done crack, but I'll take your word for it, Jay.
Actually, Brett is a monthly artist. You give him a title, he will hit a deadline 12 months out of 12 months.
Well, I'm just gonna say this: you probably gonna get 5 or 6 comments out of him, and that's about it before they switch artists.
Well, no,
you're
but
getting one. You're getting only one. And
I thought he was doing multiple issues.
He's moving on to X-Men Legends now, and there was comment that there would be more, but we've got Mohamed Asir, I think, in the next one, and then Booth goes over and does X-Men Legends for I think 2 issues.
Okay,
and then it's unclear if there's more, honestly. And you're right. To be clear, Booth is absolutely a monthly artist. He absolutely can do a monthly book. It's not.
No,
him.
I'm not saying he can't, but I'm just saying
it's the publisher. Yeah.
Is he too expensive or?
I don't think that's it.
They just don't. They don't want him back.
See, because Booth is the type of person you want to see all the time on the title, and I think will make the title, go up. The sales go up. But
I 100% agree with you. I would like to see any artist on the title for a long run, almost. Yeah. Within reason. Like, nothing irritates me more than just continually hopping around with the artist, whether they're good or bad. It drives me crazy. Please just continue.
The X Office has been notorious for that during this dawn of X.
If it was up to me, fellas, just Fatal J, this is just my opinion. Give Booth 5 or 6 million and give him a whole year on a comic book. That's just me.
Hey, Brett
That's
Booth
a lot
agrees
of
with
money,
you, but
Jay.
But
I don't need to give him anywhere close to that. Yeah.
That's a lot of money, but guess how much he's going to do for that book? You're going to make that money back and then some.
I don't think they're paying Booth any more or less than the other artists that have preceded him on that book.
And that's sad.
Yeah. So just skipping around for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this throughout all these books where they just play musical artists across the X line, where for some reason,
Cable and Phil Noto.
Yeah, except for Cable. Well, no, Noto did an issue of something else during X of Swords for some inexplicable reason.
Yeah, he did. I don't get it. His work hasn't been all that great, in my opinion.
No, it's like baby legs. Everybody has baby legs. You give Brett. I'm fine with. He's only getting the 2 issues on Legends because then the 3rd issue is the Walt and Louise Simonson X-Force.
Yeah, which
stuff,
is awesome.
X Factor stuff. I know he's said he's doing like 6 issues in the X office. Now, whether or not that's where those 6 issues are, I don't understand. And I think this is a lot of it's editorial. Point blank, not having consistent art on consistent books is editorial doing fucking stupid job.
But look at I mean, it's to a question that was up a little bit ago. Hellions and X-Men are not solicited, and something like X Factor are not solicited for April. We've seen these titles just randomly skip in March and February as well. The shipping schedule for the X office is all over the place right now, and Marvel in general. And it was brought home to me last night. Every week when I do the live stream, I show the comics that came out on this week and previous years. And what's hilarious is if you look at the 80s, the shipping was so tight that you would see they would ship Dazzler on the same week of the same month every year, like clockwork for years. And you would see that just across the line. And now it's all over the place. And this is related to the art teams because there's just when the scheduling is so random, they're just kind of grabbing people. Seemingly, I mean, I don't know what the plan is like there, but it's like throwing darts at a dartboard. Booth says he has more issues. I'm sure we'll see him return to the X-Men and do another issue here or there. But why in the world, with all the evidence in front of us, you can't just keep an artist writer team for 6, 12 issues? Hell, if Jim Lee can do it for 12 issues of Hush, with his delays and everything else, why in the living hell can't you just have a run with anyone? It's crazy.
He did 12 issues of Hush, and then he followed up with 12 issues of Superman.
Yeah, and now Superman did have some delays in there, but Hush didn't. I mean, that one went out and granted they planned ahead and they got some of that work in the can. I mean, it's crazy. Everything we know is that customers respond very well when you keep a consistent art and
regularity.
Writer. Yeah, they like it.
Like regularity. We're creatures of habit. Comic book readers are mostly collectors, and they are creatures of habit. We are a little autistic in that way.
But it's not just collectors. Everybody look at what's one of the things that manga has that these they have a consistent team. People just tend to like to tune in and watch things or read things that come out on a schedule they can predict.
Yes,
it's the craziest thing.
TV shows that do that thing where they're like, we got 2 episodes, and then we're gonna have 2 weeks off, and then 1 episode. You know what? Their ratings end up falling in the shitter
every time. It's people like to be able to. What do you know? They like to be able to schedule and predict their life. It's the most amazing thing in the world. Who knew?
Well, there's so much weirdness going on with shows though now because you got stuff like Amazon Prime and Netflix and everything like that. They just dump all their season of episodes out, and then it's like you binge it and you're done.
And HBO Max. Don't forget HBO Max.
It's so nutty. That's just I don't like that. I don't like they just dump everything all out at once.
Look at the way the music industry has changed. Up in the 90s, even through the 2000s. Tuesday was National Street Release Day. That was it. And you know what? You had albums selling millions and millions of copies. And now, granted, yes, we are in a digital age, but now they're just randomly, and weeks ahead of time, this album is coming out on this day, in this week, in this month. Now it's like, oh, it's Tuesday or it's Wednesday at 4 p.m. I'm just gonna drop an album.
All right, Doc, we understand. You're mad about the music.
No. What I mean is you don't get the same reaction from people. You don't get the same kind of sales numbers.
Yeah, I got you. I do need to move on to the super chat from Comics Exposed. Chris, he's been on the channel. He's a great guy. If you haven't checked out his channel, what are you thinking? You need to go check out Comics Exposed. What's up, Wes? Not looking forward to Brett Booth's art. Not looking anywhere near as clean as it used to. Way too sketchy and scratchy. This is the wrong audience, Chris. I don't know what the hell. No.
You're wrong.
I didn't want to say it first. Is you smoking the stuff that I'm smoking?
Yeah, are you looking at the comic? Or you're looking at the imagery that Booth is posting up, because Booth is posting up some unfinished, or in some cases sketches, or it hasn't been colored. It does look more scratchy in Booth's Twitter feed. You're seeing kind of raw art, but in the comic it's pretty slick. I think in the comic it's polished up real nice.
Yeah, after it's been inked and colored and cleaned up, it's classic Booth.
Somebody posted in the chat, even if it's scratchy and scrawny or whatever y'all talking about, he made other artists look like 4-year-olds finger painting. Period.
There you go.
Brett Booth is the man that nobody understands.
I personally enjoyed it. You can check out the video tomorrow. We got examples of all the art that you can see. And I do want to say thank you very much to Chris. Thank you very much to Kenneth Dowling. Hush is in my top 5 Batman stories. But I saw Perch's Hush perspective and enjoyed it. It was really cheeky. You cheeky bastard, Perch.
We're cheeky, yes. It's fun. We do go hard at the writing there, but we say I think a dozen times in there how much we did and I think Joe and I, before we record that, we were anticipating that a lot of people would be pissed because we were going to take the piss out on one of the more popular comics of all time. But we won some people over there with our brand of humorous negativity.
Perch, real quick question: what Batman comic do you think did a better job putting all the villains together? You want to say the Long Halloween?
Long Halloween, I think, probably did a better job. Which is also by Jeff Loeb, and I'm a little scared to go back and reread that because I'm afraid I'm going to discover that it sucks. But I love the Long Halloween. I think it's good.
They did a lot of that in Nightfall too.
Yeah, there was some in the Nightfall storyline. There was some in the. They've done it before, but as we said in the video, showcasing the villains and going on like a tour of the Batman universe is a good idea. They should do that with Superman. They should do it with Wonder Woman, The Flash. I threw this out to Brett Booth some time ago that DC would be smart to give him 12 issues and put a writer on there and have him do a tour of the Wonder Woman universe. Bring all the villains in and just do Hush, basically, for Wonder Woman. And then just every year do that for Green Lantern and then for The Flash. And just that's a smart idea. Get all the villains there, remind people where they're at, make it be a good jumping off point. Doesn't need to be Booth, just somebody doing this. Do it. It's a smart idea. It just, it would be nice if there was a good story that wasn't so batshit crazy as some of Hush.
So speaking of Hush, and thank you very much to Kenneth Dowling, Wayne Kramer comes back at Perch. We Hush fans gonna clockwork orange you up, make you watch the pages, read the dialogue, and re-say everything till you say it's the best comic.
It would still be better than Iron Man 2020, but sure.
So is everything.
Look, the Tommy Elliott stuff makes no fucking sense. I'm sorry.
Explain yourself, Perch, until you're right.
There you go.
So thank you very much to Lane Kramer for supporting the channel. We've also got Chris from Comics Explained. He comes back. All 6 of y'all are smoking crack. Well, at least Fatal J is. He's been talking about his addiction and what it tastes like. Booth's art has
cry for help.
Worse over time. Some artists do that. Really needs a better inker.
I love Adelso's art or inking over his art.
Now, I know what they're talking about.
It's not Scott Williams. I understand that. But Adelso Corona's inking on Brett's art, I think, is awesome. So
I know what they're talking about. They're talking about all the lines that he's been doing. I know what they're talking about. It looks good.
I'll still take a below average Brett Booth on his bad day than most artists.
It's like
They're
people
most artists. Yeah.
It's like people complaining about Todd McFarlane saying, "Oh, his art looks so sketchy." It's like, why does he have to be so busy, and why does he have to have those little squiggly details and stuff? Oh my God, people! I love that. People actually like detail. They actually like expressions. They actually like, a dynamism and there's a certain flow and a dynamism to the. It's not just like a photograph. If we wanted photographs with stories, they've got picture books. There's not comic books. You can buy the picture books and you
have Alex Ross.
And you got Alex Ross. You got Adam Hughes. You got all these great people out there that do that, and they're more like still life artists where everything looks frozen, and that's a style, and people like that. But you want like something that evokes emotion, that causes, it has an emotional response. You've got to go with those guys that are a little liney, a little squiggly here and there, because that's just it's their style, and it really brings out the action in a comic.
And Comments Exposed, we do care about your opinion. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel bad. I guess I should have had you on today's panel. You would have got crucified live on the channel. But thank you so much. I
love Chris. I do.
Some people don't like Brett Booth. I get it.
Yeah. I honestly, I think his art is awesome, and especially
you think the 90s comics were the best ever.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I admit that.
I think 90s art, a lot of 90s art was the best, but I think 80s comics. But no, there's especially with X-Men. I mean, first of all, we've just had a bunch of Lionel Francis Yu, and I mean, if you're going to complain about somebody being scratchy, come on. Lionel Francis Yu has made a career out of being scratchy.
His Avengers run covers right now for the Phoenix Saga. They're just, not the Phoenix Saga. The what was it? Enter the Phoenix.
Yeah,
I read it. I should know that since I read it and I still don't know.
Okay, and y'all ready to crucify me? I'm gonna tell y'all who really scratchy. Get ready to crucify me, Dave Finch.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're right. So
anybody, he's a really good Batman artist.
A lot of those, pretty much any of those guys that came up out of the 90s, that are proteges of the 90s Exodus guys that went to Image. Finch is a protege of Mark Silvestri. Booth is a protege of Jim Lee. Stephen Platt was a protege of Rob Liefeld. All of these guys are protege. We're not surprised.
I mean, look at the great sketchy artists. You got Sienkiewicz, Mazzucchelli. You've got, these are guys that you have to kind of look at what the art is. You got to look at the panel, and you've got to go, okay, what's going on here? That's a lot going on.
The other thing that I was thinking though about having Brett here is it's a huge change from all of the Stuart Immonen clones that we've had, which I'm perfectly happy with.
So I do want to say thank you very much to Chris once again.
Thank you, Chris.
And we'll definitely have you back on here again. Let's move on to one of our final topics. Is IDW going to be losing Hasbro? We know IDW just picked up the Magic the Gathering license. They talk about in the press release, or I'm not IDW, but Boom is picking up the Magic the Gathering license. They talk about in the press release. They do have a relationship with Hasbro. Perch and I talk about it on the channel. Doc, would this be like almost a death blow to IDW Publishing if they lost maybe like G.I. Joe, Transformers, My Little Pony?
They have nothing else.
Yep.
They are a licensing company.
They have TMNT.
They have TMNT, Lock and Key, and Winona Earp. That's it. That's the extent of their line. Maybe they'll actually have to develop product in-house. But best of luck doing that. It's legitimately a death blow.
Doc, I want to say this real fast, real quick. If they lose Transformers, game over for IDW. Period.
Definitely.
It's already game over for them.
Yeah, it is, but Transformer will be the nail in the coffin. It's the nail in the coffin. That's what I know IDW for is Transformers.
I'd say TMNT because that's one of their best sellers.
Yeah.
I know
Transformers
IDW.
a death blow? Would it be, Perch?
I mean, it sets them back. I mean, the problem is, with the money that they borrowed and everything else, if they lost that license and they lost G.I. Joe, they lost Transformers, people may laugh, but My Little Pony props them up with a ton of money right now, or not a ton, but a lot of it.
I believe.
If they lose those licenses, it's bad. They basically reset that they're now in the kind of. I mean, they're. I don't know. They're stronger than Vault, but they're lower than Boom. I mean, that's just not a good place to be when you owe a lot of money. So, it becomes more of a can they sell off the assets kind of question at that point.
What assets?
No. It is the deal. The assets would be the contracts they have with Netflix. That would be Umbrella Academy and that kind of, or not Umbrella Academy. Sorry, Lock and Key. They're selling off the contracts at that point.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're basically the Turtles. They're the Turtles publisher.
Yeah.
FF2 just said Transformers are going to Boom, so they're pretty much already leaving if he's right.
Who?
FF2, he's a little higher up.
Oh, well, it definitely could have. We talked about it. They talk about they have a Boom and Hasbro have a relationship. Magic the Gathering is the first. They could be bringing the others along with them. We know IDW has had financial issues recently. Obviously, they made some money though in the last quarter, basically on like historical graphic novels from like historical figures like George Takei.
Yeah, it just changes them. I mean, keep in mind they're not they haven't lost G.I. Joe or Transformers or any of the stuff yet. They're still publishing things, but it is the press release with Boom was a relationship with Hasbro and with Wizards of the Coast, kind of under them. So it's not a good thing. If they lost it, it would be bad. They would be reset smaller.
I just want to say this. Y'all remember Dreamwave comics?
Yep.
What happened when they lost Transformers and G.I. Joe?
Well, that actually had a lot more to do with Pat Lee being an alleged giant crook, but okay.
Yeah, Pat Lee
and not paying his writer or his creators, not paying his licensing, basically just buying Porsches.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. I imagine that one's not going to be happening anytime soon. Obviously, Fatal J is beside himself with the prospects of IDW not producing.
I mean, I don't have nowhere to go. I mean, like y'all said, they do have the Turtles, but I know IDW for G.I. Joe and Transformers. I just know them for those.
You lose Transformers, you lose Fatal J, IDW.
No, they don't, because they still got me for Last Ronin. I'm still an IDW fan, trust me.
Well, they haven't put out a book since, what was it, November?
That's true, too. That's true.
They're having problems. Perch, do you think that has anything to do with their financial issues, or do you just think that they are having trouble producing the comic on time?
No, I definitely think it's related. I think it's related. I'm the most optimistic comic book YouTuber. I mean, keep in mind.
Teddy bear.
Yeah, there you go. But when I say they're still alive, I mean it's not a good life. Like being hooked up to a machine to keep your vitals going is not like where you want to be. Yeah, you're still alive. You could still play Animal Crossing on the Switch if you want to, but nobody wants to be in that place. So that's kind of like where we're at. I mean, it's like I don't know. Maybe I need a better scale. Like doing well, treading water, in a terrible position, and death. It's not death; it's a terrible position. That's where we're at.
They're in the middle of an ocean with a floaty. Is where they're at.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be.
I want to ask a quick question though. How does that work when they always get like an established thing like Transformers or Thundercats? How does the publisher makes money off that? Wouldn't it be Hasbro making the most money off the?
They pay a licensing fee.
The idea is you sell something, you sell enough of it, you're paying a licensing fee. It might be $5,000 a month, it might be $25,000 a month. The idea is whatever you make off of that has to be more than what you're paying to have it.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So I do want to say thank you very much to you, Iron, for the $5 super chat. The Magic the Gathering market is bigger than the entire Western comics market. Absolutely. There are 5 times more Magic the Gathering fans than Marvel Comics fans.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Pele, I know that you're into Magic the Gathering. You sell Magic cards and comic books. Which fan base is bigger?
Okay, here's the deal. All right, there are more Magic players, but the issue with Magic players are, I'd say less than half of them actually buy new cards. So you've got a lot of vintage players. You got a lot of people like, oh, I've already got my cards. I don't need to buy anymore. You've got a lot of people who played only digitally. And they'll only play on, they only play online. And so when you look at actual publishing numbers, you've got a lot of sales out there, but the problem is it's pretty equal, really, from my perspective as far as a seller. And I don't have nearly the margins selling Magic as I do selling comics. So Magic is basically, okay, I can buy these boxes of Magic I can buy these booster boxes for $75, maybe $74, and I can sell them for $85. Oopie. I can buy comics for less than half, and basically make a 80-90% markup after taxes. So
I can help with this. My comic shop in Spokane, so it has three locations. It's got one in Northtown, it's got one downtown, it's got one in the Valley, and all owned by the same guy, Craig. Good guy. Go check him out if you're there. Whatever. But the Northtown one is in a mall, and it mainly sells Magic cards, and they have and like board games and stuff like that. It's basically just a knickknacks shop that has
tabletop shop.
But that single store sells enough Magic cards to, I think they said, finance all three stores for like 3 months, and then everything else with comic books is just profit.
Yeah, it's just
Magic sells like crazy.
It does, but you're still looking at very low margins on Magic products. They must be selling like God only knows how many boxes, because unless they're just cracking packs and selling singles, which you can do and make kind of decent money sometimes, you're still looking at 10 to 15% on regular booster boxes. Collector's edition, you can probably make about 25 to 30%. Hold on, Wes. Well, the problem here that you run into is that there's a whole lot of less vanity collector type products out there that are being printed. It just doesn't pay off unless he's selling, like God only knows, like I said, 10,000 boxes a month. He's not making great money.
Well, he said he was, but there are more Magic Gathering active players than there are comic book readers. We can establish that. Thank you very much to you, Iron, for the support. Also, we have You Murder That Guy with $5 Canadian. What are the small publishers to look out for in 2021? I'm liking Ablaze. Me personally, I'm liking AWA in their new shared superhero universe that's been launched out.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been killing it. What's that comic book we like, Wes?
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. But I think Boom is killing it right now.
That really is.
Yeah, really pay attention to Boom. Boom Studios.
Everybody's got another small publisher they're looking out for in 2021?
Nope.
No, you pretty much named the good ones.
Boom, there you go. You murdered that guy. Thank you very much. And hopefully Ablaze is everything that you were hoping for. We got another super chat. That was based on revenue from you, Iron. Thank you for the $10 super chat. And thank you for the clarification. We also have another one. Dark Horse is kind of in a similar situation. Thank you to Evertop for supporting the channel. Perch, last year I thought, Dark Horse and Boom were in prime position to overtake IDW as number 4 comic publisher, and it does feel like Dark Horse is kind of in a rut right now, other than like Black Hammer and Hellboy. There's not a lot of great things coming out of there.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Horse, I heard from some reliable people Dark Horse was going to be acquired, and I think the pandemic blew that up. But that was what was likely going to happen in 2020. But the world took a different turn. I don't know at this point now. I don't think any of the current comic companies are in the mood to acquire anything. I don't think that's on the table for anybody. But yeah, I think Dark Horse is now in a position where there needs to be some kind of merger or combo or something, or they just settle in at a 2 to 4% part of the market. That's really where it's at.
So thank you very much to Everett Todd for supporting the channel. Did anyone else have something to say about IDW before we talk about any of the highs or lows of Future State.
When did they lose the Dungeons and Dragons? Is it they're losing the Dungeons and Dragons license already too?
That's part of that's all rolled into Wizards of the Coast.
Okay, that's what I figured because I have, I hadn't been that long since I saw some really good D&D. At least I saw some D&D books that looked decent, but I've not read them. But just customers have been asking for them.
That sucks though. This is my last words about IDW. They losing great stuff like Thundercats, He-Man. Man, they came out with some really great He-Man comic books and crossovers.
They gambled on their original IP that it would transfer over to other mediums, and so far it hasn't paid off for them. So we shall see if they are able to make it through 2021. Now let's move it to Future State Week 4. I know, Jimmy, you would disagree with me on Superman versus Imperious Lex. I said if you enjoy the funny pages in your newspaper back in the 90s, you might like that comic book. Otherwise, I don't think it was a great fit. But you enjoyed it from Mark Russell.
I'm a Mark Russell fan, and he's a friend. So
you're the Mark Russell fan, the only one. But you're that's you. Okay, cool. Now I have named put it to a face.
Yeah, I like Mark Russell. Read his Flintstones if you want to cry over freaking.
No.
But yeah, I thought it was fine. And plus, he's a political satire writer, so you kind of know what you're gonna get when
you should tell that to DC Comics. They think he's a superhero comic book writer.
Somebody might want to tell him he's a political satire writer. Because
I did a interview Perch about with him too, and we talked about it. Yeah, he's awesome. I didn't think he was
calling me out. I don't know what's going on. Oh, good.
I was messing with you.
Good.
Perch, what did you think of Superman Imperious Lex? I thought it was annoying and not very funny.
I didn't care for it. I don't mind him. I think I've liked some of the stuff he's done. I just didn't. I didn't care for this. Yeah, I mean, Future State in general. If it's 2 months, 2 issues to kind of get a bunch of ideas on the table to get people excited, I wouldn't be screwing around with this kind of stuff during this moment. Yeah, but
yeah. So we do have. Kenneth Dowling, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Big question. You guys watching the Super Bowl next weekend? Any predictions? I think Mahomes has the better team, but I'm not counting out Tom Brady. And thanks for Pele for the kind words. Bye, guys. So I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. It is very hard to watch the NFL here. So I got the international NFL pass package. So I will be watching the Super Bowl with my 2 little boys. We will be eating a Super Bowl feast, deep fried foods and tacos and all that kind of stuff. At about 8 a.m. watching the Super Bowl here, so I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely have a good feeling about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs' chances. Perch, who are you betting on for the Super Bowl?
I mean, any chance that Tom Brady can lose is a good time for me. So let Tom Brady lose. Yeah.
Jeez, you just hurt Jimmy's feelings.
No. Okay, I hated Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots. But I can root for him now because he's the GOAT at the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers. I can root for him there. No. But I have no room because my damn Texans are messing everything up. I'm bitter, and let's go Bucks right now.
You're in Washington State.
That's the path to the darkness.
Yeah. No, you're in Washington State, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's a betrayal of everything that comes out.
No,
for Tom Brady. Are you kidding me?
But when I was doing football, I was
never.
He wore a MAGA hat one time. You can't vote. You can't like him. Oh my God, dude!
I think he had him as a quarterback on his fantasy football team or something. That's why he likes the Texans.
No,
I'm going Chiefs all the way, but I will not. I mean, it's 2021, the National Brady League. Fixing it wouldn't be surprising either.
No.
Everything else is fixed anymore.
Tom Brady is the only player.
Tom Brady got handed that AFC
I think
or that
he's
NFC
the only
championship.
Player who can beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because he's the greatest.
Yes, because they'll just hand him the game
of all time. This is his 10th Super Bowl.
Oh, Doc. No.
They handed him the NFC championship.
Well,
how?
Yes.
Technically, the coach from Green Bay did.
You talking about the INT? You talking about the interference penalty?
That was a horseshit ass interference call. They hadn't called a goddamn
They gave him a wedgie, Doc. You literally can see him pull.
They hadn't called a thing all game.
And yeah, they didn't call a thing on either side.
Yes,
all
until
game.
then. And then they decided to just hand it to Brady.
There you go.
ICT got it right. And the NFL is the Tom Brady league.
Don't call anything all game or call things all game. Don't decide in the last 2 minutes when your guy is about to be in a questionable position. No, that's when it's bullshit.
Also, you're not going to call shit on the greatest quarterback of all time, first ballot Hall of Famer, without a doubt.
Is he going to deflate that ball too?
You think it's going to be on the
Oh,
quarterback?
come on. You were calling him strongman earlier. Let's not talk about this stuff.
So, guys, I do want to say thank you very much to Kenneth Dowling. And if you were wondering, does Doc get overly emotional about everything? Is it just comic books? No, it's not just comic books.
No, it's
Doc,
not just comics. No.
Doc gets hot about life, people.
Only things that I get really pissed off about.
So, getting back to Future State, me personally, the best comic I think easily was Aquaman. What did you think? Was there a high moment for Future State this week?
Yeah, I thought Aquaman did the best with I thought that was the best comic. It's the comics that are doing the best are the ones that are living into the premise. They're embracing what this thing is supposed to be as a view of the future. Doesn't have to be all grim. Needs to be somewhat hopeful, but also somewhat off-putting, and basically lay out kind of where things can go. And Aquaman leaned into that, like Swamp Thing did, and others in weeks past. So I think that to me that was the best one.
I need to read that.
Yeah. There you go.
Because I like that Dark Detective. That Dark Detective killer.
Yeah, Dark Detective is okay.
I love it. I love when Bruce Wayne is surviving and not just, billionaire playboy that can do anything he wants to. He's surviving. He on survive mode. I love this comic. I love the villain. What's the villain name? The mask guy.
Magistrate.
The Magistrate. Yeah, I like him.
There you go. Pele, did you have any Future State you thought was a standout moment?
No, I've got the Aquaman book, but I've not read it yet.
I think you're gonna enjoy it. It's pretty damn good.
It's no, not. Well, I mean, that's basically it. Dark Detective. I've got a lot of them. I've just not read them, and I kind of got burned on like the Batman and a couple other issues, and I was like, oh god, no, okay. I put them away, and Superman was just like a complete punch in the balls. So Swamp Thing.
Just the whole Superman line has been really bad.
Yeah, it's been.
Wes,
really,
you remember
really
when
bad.
I said?
But I'm talking about
Superman
Future
Color was
State.
good?
It's just not. It's Swamp Thing's the only bright spot that I've seen so far. But people are talking good things about Aquaman, and I'm going to read it today.
Yul Carter knows what he's talking about. I like this guy.
And Yul Carter's a fool if he likes that comic book. He apparently likes the funny pages.
But Wes,
Mariko Tamaki has been impressing me with her writing on Dark Detective. I went in there going, okay, let's see how I can roast this, and then I left going, I can't. The book was actually really solid, and
It's
Nick
good.
Harrington's art is.
That's
Well, it's
the
about
next
time
Batman.
that some of these people actually learned how to write. I mean, they've been
But
writing
Tamaki-
comics for like 5 years now. And
Tamaki's Marvel versus DC work is just a radical difference. I mean, I think more people need to. Yeah, Tom Taylor as well. We need to start asking the question, like, what's going on at Marvel that is making some of these writers who put in reasonable work other places terrible? Like, what is exactly the DNA going on? What's going on with editorial? Why is it this way? Because if you look at like the She-Hulk book that Tamaki did, and then the X-23 book, they're terrible. The Wonder Woman book was certainly not bad. The Dark Detective book's not bad. Like it Tom Taylor with X-Men Red versus DC's, these don't fit. And so what is going on there between the companies?
Well, I have to ask then, which situation is actually better? Or if okay, obviously editorial at DC is helping significantly to improve the quality. So if they suck so bad at Marvel without any attention, then why are you paying them even if they're good at DC? Just pay the editors.
Yeah,
Because they're obviously the ones that are making it.
They're on the
good.
market. They just fired them.
Yeah. I mean, they were obviously the ones that made it good because left to their own devices, the writers obviously suck. And if they need babysat in order to be good, then why are you paying them?
No, but I don't know that completely tracks because there's less editorial right now at DC, and Tamaki's putting in better work than what was arguably more heavy-handed editorial at Marvel, and the work is worse. It is an interesting question. I'm curious to see when you see a writer like Steve Orlando, who was at DC and is now going to Marvel. Like, are we going to see some weird thing in reverse, or are we going to get a worse Steve Orlando? Like, what are we about to see?
Mm-hmm. I do want to say thank you very much to Chris for supporting the channel. It was a punch in the balls. All right, Fatal J, you've been trying to speak for a while. What do you want to say?
No, I thought I already spoke.
No, you were just going.
Okay, well, let me speak. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
We already had Christmas. Jesus Christ, man.
You
Let
see,
it go.
almost let him speak too long.
There you go.
It's Valentine's Day. Come on.
So, Perch, is that the general feeling that you've gotten from Future State? Is the Batman books, generally speaking, good? Superman books, generally speaking, awful. The stuff that's not Batman and Superman it's kind of a wash. It's sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
I'm the odd man out here because I don't like the Magistrate storyline. I feel like I've seen fascist police state Batman just way too much. So it's not that it's bad. I'm bored of it, and I don't also like. Not to go off on a complete tangent, but Batman. The idea that we're going to take Batman, we're going to go from a billionaire to a millionaire, to me is one of the dumbest things, pointless things in the world. It's like nobody cares. You've got a guy who can, beam himself up to the Justice League satellite in any moment. Are you telling me that when there's a big threat in Gotham and a bunch of people are going to die, Batman's like, crap, I don't have all the money for the extra cars or anything. Too bad I don't have like Superman and the Flash on speed dial to take care of this. I'm going to have to get down and gritty and solve this problem. This idea of taking his money away is just pointless at that level. Like it does not matter. So I'm not as big a fan of the Batman stuff. I know as a lot of other people. I think it's fine work. I just don't like the premise. I think the books like Swamp Thing and maybe Suicide Squad and some of the other stuff they're doing have a better potential with Future State, Aquaman. It's just Superman is all over the place. Yara Flor, who I think I thought the first book was fine. I thought it was a good introduction. I thought the Wonder Woman Superman was pretty terrible. And then in Justice League, we got a third personality. And so my problem there is just like, you have one job, just write vaguely consistent. And what are you doing with these characters? But anyway.
There you go. You got the Perch rant here about Future State. And I do want to say thank you very much to you, Iron, for supporting the channel. Future State equals DC's $20.99. Thank you very much. So I guess we're out of time. It's time to do some comic book recommendations. Hey, Fatal J, what are you recommending this week?
The only thing that I read this week was Claws by Boom Studios, and I'm telling you, that is fun. The way that they just flip Santa Claus and just the little things that you notice about Santa Claus. Just picture it like this. Claus from Boom Studios is like the rock and roll version of Santa Claus, and I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Dark Detective, I enjoyed the art by Dan Mora because I especially love his run on Power Rangers. Shattered, what's it called? Shattered Grid. Shattered Grid is the most amazing Power Ranger run known to man. So I had fun this week. So I recommend Claws by Boom Studios, and I recommend Dark Detective.
So we do have a super chat from Comments Exposed. Thank you, Chris. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are 3 different Batman in Future State right now. I think it's 2. There's Jace Fox. Is it in the next? Yeah, the next Batman in Dark Detective is Bruce Wayne, and also in the Batman Superman book, it's Bruce Wayne, and then I think that's it, right, Perch? It's 2.
Yeah, I think it's 2. Batman Superman is Bruce. Justice League is Jace. Batman Wonder Woman is going to be Jace. It is. I don't think there's 3. Unless you're, there's only 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Also, Perch, are you recommending any comics this week?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Aquaman. We talked about some of these other books. I think, the other one I'll throw out there is, he got me sold on it when I talked to him, is the Post Americana book. I find really fun. It's like Mad Max in a comic. It's an enjoyable read. Please don't go in. I know some people tagged it as a political book trying to do a commentary on Trump. It is not even remotely that. Like you have to be really stretching to to think that. It's got cannibals. It's got people running around in a kind of Mad Max style Earth. That confuses everybody. It confused the writer author a lot to get that feedback. But it's a fun, insane book. It's very violent.
Awesome. Comic Disposed, thank you for supporting the channel. Somebody recommended Bad Mother last week, and that was a great read. Check it out. There you go. Check out Bad Mother, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. We've got another one. We've got Brian Withy, who's enjoying WandaVision. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Who's enjoying it? Doc, you're enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I have enjoyed it. By the way, it's Brian with a Y. That's how he, as in.
Oh yeah, it's not right. I worked with a guy named Brian Withy, and it looks exactly like that.
WandaVision is moving too slow, even though I know it's going to get better.
WandaVision is too good for its own being.
It's, you know what, I did not like the first 2 episodes, but the last 2 have been really good. It feels like it's going to be better in binge. Look, I've watched Pleasantville before. I didn't need to watch it again.
If they only did the first 2 episodes throughout the whole nine
yes, that was my point. The first 2 episodes, they didn't even get into it. It was the mid-season lull of a lot of these shows, but they got it out of the way early on. And so I'm fine with it. You know what? The last 2 episodes have been fucking dope. It's really getting into the mystery. It's really getting into the, where we're going from here. And it seems like it's really opened up the story a lot. So definitely go for it.
Sorry.
Who would have thought Doc would have liked a Tom King WandaVision show?
No, but I just want to say this real quick.
Because I hated the Tom King bits.
Look, I think episodes 1 and 2 should have been saved for the middle of the season instead of the first 2 episodes. That's just my opinion.
There you go.
What's crazy about this show is that I think everybody who's read comics see all this coming, but it was weird to watch people on Twitter come to the realization that it's like, oh my God, Wanda's lost her mind. It's like, so I think you kind of, to the masses, you kind of had to do those first 2 episodes to set up the premise and the reveal that we got this week in the 4th episode. But for people who have read comics, it probably felt like you were wading through a lot of stuff for no apparent reason. So it makes a lot more sense why they did that. But I find it absolutely hilarious that there's people on Twitter just freaking out like, oh my God, Wanda's crazy? Who saw this coming? It's like, bitch, don't you read the comics?
I hated the Tom King bits of the Tom King Brian Bendis show.
Yeah, it's like, bitch said no more mutants, and everybody just died. They had 90% of the mutants lost, 99% of the mutants lost their powers. It's like, just like that. Yeah, she's perfectly stable. Yeah, right. Okay.
Thank you very much to Brian with a Y for supporting the channel. We've also got Skip and Tosh in the house. Back issues, Selena's Big Score by Darwin Cook. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And obviously you can see Skip here on the channel from time to time. And we'd like to talk about positive stuff. What do you just want to say about this one, Betty J?
I just want to say, Skip, you need to bow down. March 18th, the Snyder Cut is coming.
Let's go.
Next weekend we'll do that conversation with Skip and I versus the 2 buffoons.
Yeah, we're gonna have a tag team match. The tag team match is coming.
I am looking forward to it. God, I am looking forward to it. I
if you guys look like stupid, we're gonna do it for you. Don't worry. So thank you very much to Skip and Tosh, and sending it over to buffoon number 2, the masked man himself, the comic book teddy bear. Jimmy, what are you recommending this week?
I had a rough week because I was starting to get down, man. I like comic books, but I started to read some. I'm like, these are just bad, and I don't like it anymore. And then I read Firepower, and the new trade came out, and I read the full thing, and I was like, God damn, this book is so good. Firepower. I think the new issue was coming out next week, so issue 8. Check that out, and they have the first 2 volumes if you want to get caught up. It's so good. The name sucks, but the story is fantastic.
Hey, Kirkman, speaking of Kirkman, you guys know Invincible is coming out soon on Amazon.
That's another conversation. What are you doing?
I'm looking forward to it.
Sorry.
You're done, sir. We're moving on. Thank you very much.
Wait your turn.
I'm sorry.
Now let's send it over to the comic curmudgeon himself. Pele, you recommend anything this week?
Daredevil 26 was great. really enjoyed that. All the King of Black stuff, I can't help it. God, I've been enjoying this run. I've been enjoying the the tie-ins. I've enjoyed the story itself a lot more than I thought I would. I mean, I knew I'd probably would enjoy it, but I've just been wow. Just this has really been what an event should be, and I've really enjoyed going along the way with this, and I'm very curious to how this is all going to tie up at the end. So I have a good idea. I don't think it's going to be that much of a secret. It's not like Donny Cates pulls things, from left field. If you pay any kind of attention whatsoever, you know where something's going. But I've really enjoyed the story in it, and it's been great. I've definitely give it a 4.5 stars out of 5 so far. It's been the best. It's been the best Marvel event in a long time for me.
I agree.
Since
There you go. And Skip and Tosh, he's all about it. He's about that life. He's got no problem sending you two jabronis back on your Mary after we whoop your butts talking about.
You two know all this.
Yeah, right.
All I'm gonna say is March
all of it
18th.
because I know.
March 18th, the world will stop for 4 hours. That's all I'm saying.
And how many bathroom breaks? That's the big question. Now, Doc, you are the Marvel historian. Anything you're recommending this week?
Well, I'm going to go with what FF2 said. UXM 283, 281, 282, 283, Wolverine, all that, the Hammer era. But for modern books, X-Men 17, Wolverine 8 or 9, whatever the hell issue it is. The White Knight presents Harley Quinn. I've really been enjoying that.
That's right. That came out. That's an excellent one. Honestly, I think the way that's being written right now, Harley Quinn is. I mean, it's a great detective story. It is aspects to this that are better than the White Knight 2 run. This is a really good set, and Katrina
really
Collins
is
great.
Yeah, the art's been great. Katana Collins.
Collins.
Yeah, it's
Katana Collins. Sorry,
she's named after a sword. It's cool.
Gonna get kicked in the ass over that one.
She's her writing's great on it. The Harley is both capable and very obviously down on her luck, but also not like, oh, woe is me. She's like legitimately, it's literally a great struggle book for her. And it's done very well. It's not. I saw some of there was always the risk of it because of it's comics in the 2020s and the 20 teens, but no, they're nailing it. Everything about it is great characterization. The art is awesome.
Well, I mean, and so she's Sean Murphy's wife, and it is like that combo now. I mean, if you just think about the future, if Murphy goes out on his own, I mean, she's an excellent writer. Putting the two, that's a really good team now.
Yeah. So definitely pick up the White Knight, Harley, X-Men, Wolverine, and back issues. Yeah, everybody keeps talking about Michael Turner in the chat now. Yeah, seriously, go pick up some old Michael Turner stuff. It's awesome.
I am the biggest Michael Turner fan known to man.
That's not true. You said he's your third favorite artist. There's somebody that said he's his first favorite artist, and they're bigger.
Oh yeah, I did put that, but I'm just saying. Michael,
get your story straight.
Well, I'm just gonna say this though. I love Turner, and even though rest in peace, I still feel like that man never got his just due as one of the most amazing comic book artists known to man. He never did.
Michael Turner was leading when he passed. He was leading an art revolution that would have rivaled, if not exceeded, the Marvel X offices and Spider offices art revolution of the 80s and early 90s.
He was killing it.
What he was doing with some of his proteges that he had already found, and some of the other ones that he was bringing in, all of them got lost. They all got lost I mean, Talent Caldwell to this day doesn't get anywhere the credit he deserves. That
I agree. Talent Caldwell.
All right, guys.
No, I just want to say that this needs to be said though. Talent Caldwell is sick, but people don't notice him for some reason.
He doesn't really even get work.
Sad, man.
That's It's tragic.
And
Now-
Marcel Destry, you know you're wrong for what you did to
Man,
Turner.
I am about to come through this
Jay.
screen, Jay. So I do have some
saying.
recommendations.
Jay.
It was a very good week overall for comic books. And we had the finish of The Last God from Philip Kennedy Johnson. It was excellent. There is a last word that he had in there saying that we will get more of The Last God, and maybe
Yes,
not
we
at
will.
DC. But it is absolutely worth your money. 12 issues, a magnificent fantasy horror epic quest. I enjoyed that a lot. We also got the final issue of John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction Vortex 2.0 number 8. I definitely highly recommend that, especially if you like Alien and franchises like that. So we had a really good week. Also, Something is Killing the Children 14 was off the hook. I really enjoyed that issue. And we do have a $9.99 super chat from Jasper Plan to 9. Thanks for the content, Wes. Please promote Rocafort's Groken and Nolan's Alien Alamo on Indiegogo. So there you go. If you're looking for a comic book on Indiegogo, you got Rocafort's Groken and Nolan's Alien Alamo live right now on Indiegogo. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. And thank you to the panel, who have been great for the most part, other than Fatal J. You guys have been terrific. We had a great conversation here today. And
One
I will see
side
you
is trying to divide us, and one side is trying to unite us.
Us
Hashtag
united.
unite.
I'm the unificator navigator.
Sorry for all the downvotes.